again to our Africa Tech segment. Technology is arguably one of the greatest agents of change in today's world, and experts believe that although never without risks, technological breakthroughs promise innovative solutions to the most pressing global challenges of our time. Well, they lead to improvement in people's lives, offer new ways of conducting businesses, while also supporting indigenous practices that support the environment. Software developer Onyedinma Onyekachi joins us from our Abuja studios to tell us more about this. Good to have you on the program.
Thank you.
Well, technological breakthroughs are promising innovative solutions, as we've said, aside the risk. But tell us, what are some of the emerging technologies that have come to stay?
Well, before I start talking about emerging technologies, we'll have to make sure we understand what is emerging technology. Well, emerging technology is basically existing technologies that have evolved and emerged as a result of local content adaptation and technology localization, and also competitive advantage. And for example, RFID technology has been existing from 1939 to 1945 during World War II. And this technology was basically used to target energy planes, planes. And now is a household name, is everywhere in our homes, in the industries. We use RFID technology. We use RFID technology to monitor the speeds of cars. We use RFID technology to monitor the movement of animals. We use RFID technology in the hospitals to get the vital information of personnel in the hospital. We use RFID technology in different aspects. Even our national ID card is made up of RFID technology, and this is to identify objects uniquely. Apart from that, coming to our Nigerian perspective, we have some of emerging technologies like IoT, which is basically technology development for poverty alleviation and innovation habitat, is one of the chief key pioneers of this technology in Nigeria, considering some of the products like the Obuno IoT engine, which was developed here in Nigeria, having a 95% local content. They basically developed for streaming sensor data like your temperature data, your humidity data, your basically anything you want to get that is sensual, that is physical. Okay. And these technologies applied in agriculture, like automatic irrigation system.
I'm sure
actually automate.
I'm sure you're trying to reel out all of them, but we also know that these technologies will have to compete for attention with today's game changers like cloud, mobile, and analytics. What's your take on that?
Well, when we talk about some of these technologies like the cloud you mentioned, the cloud has been existing before. We have cloud storage, but now we have cloud computing. What's the difference? Before, we basically store data to the internet, that is servers, but now we do what we call cloud computing. That is, we have services now in the internet. This is what we call technology evolving. That is innovation. That is emergent of technology. Now, when we talk about cloud services, we talk about software solutions in the cloud. We talk about infrastructure in the cloud. We talk about platforms in the cloud, such platforms like programming platforms, such platforms like data services platforms, analytics platforms, but previously it was only data storage. Now, when we talk about mobile devices, when we look at it critically, mobile devices are previously designed only for communication, but now we have mobile devices for social interaction. We have mobile devices for even identification, like the RFID technology I was previously talking about. We have that adaptation of it in the mobile device. That is the NFC, near field communication.
Tell us, where do you see Africa, especially Nigeria, in all of these? Are we ready for an era where technology takes center stage in practically everything?
Well, Nigeria, with the recent implementation of the local content policy, mandating the patronizing of Nigerian local produced goods and services, and the recent establishment of hubs in different areas of Nigeria. Nigeria is actually going forward, but we are not actually there right now. Of recent, we are in Katsina State. We did some training there with the enthusiasm of the youth there. After the training, we saw some of the ideas they brought about. This is show that Nigeria is ready for this. Nigeria have the capacity, they have the brain, they have the resources to actually go forth and get this technology done.
All right, Ms. Onyedinma Onyekachi, many thanks for talking to us on Network Africa. And banned by former head of state Robert Mugabe, 1983, The Dark Ages, a play about Gukurahundi massacres, have been performed in Zimbabwe for the first time. The director of the play, Adrian Musa, says he feels political freedoms are improving since the November's de facto army coup against Mugabe in the country.
Somewhere in Gwanda, southeast Zimbabwe, soldiers chase after two women. One is sexually abused, the elderly one is caught and hanged on a tree. This is a scene from 1938, The Dark Years, the play banned by Robert Mugabe that relieves the horrors of a government crackdown in the mid-1980s that rights groups say killed 20,000 civilians. The story is told through the character of a young woman, played by Proficiency Kadar, who is trying to find out what really happened to her parents when they died during the period of the massacres.
I play the role of a young girl. She doesn't have a name because she doesn't know her identity, which is something that is actually happening in Matabeleland. There are many young girls and boys who do not know who their real fathers are because they were a result of rape that happened during the Gukurahundi. Well, as for playing this role, it was a very big role and it was overwhelming. I feel like I had very big boots to fill.
The play tells the story of the massacres that began after Mugabe said his government had discovered weapons hidden by former liberation fighters belonging to his rival Joshua Nkomo, whom he accused of plotting an insurgency.
This is a very sensitive issue, and where we come from in Matabeleland, even only if you term the word Gukurahundi, you know, people will start raising their eyebrows, who is talking about Gukurahundi. So we as a theatre group, we thought it is the right time to try and trigger this kind of debate whereby we need the nation to actually know what happened.
In the local Shona language, Gukurahundi means the early rain that washes away the chaff.
I'm so emotional about this issue because we lost our loved ones during that time. I was young by then. We could not sleep at home sometimes.
Speaking after the play, some audience members say they were moved and terrified by the memory of Gukurahundi.
And that's Network Africa for the week. Many thanks for watching. I'm Millicent Walker.